Good communication is not just about sending a clear message. It's making sure the receiver of that message both hears and understands your meaning. Well, at least that's what they told us in the premarital counseling classes. Over those 5 weeks, they threw so much information at us, from eye contact to the importance of I statements, that my head was ready to explode. Even after we got married, there was always someone waiting there with unsolicited communication advice, often contradictory. The same woman who told us we should never go to bed angry also told us we should have separate bedrooms. Go figure. We went one better though. We had separate households. Now, not because of that, but because we had both been married previously and had children from those marriages. So what we did, so his youngest son could finish school in the district he started, was we had separate households in separate counties. I know some of you are probably saying, sounds like a good idea. But back on the communications front, it seemed like nothing was sacred, not even church. One Sunday, we learned in church that we also had to be cognizant of one another's love languages. According to Dr. Gary Chapman, there are 5 basic love languages. They include words of affirmation, physical touch, gift giving and receiving, quality time, and acts of service, or doing nice things for people you care about to show you care. My husband and I thought we had it absolutely made in the shade because we both spoke the same love language, acts of service. But what we didn't realize is that actually put us on a collision course where one was always trying to outdo the other. Because I take care of business, when he did something nice for me, he would be all puffed up with love, and I would feel deflated and lazy and even guilty. It was a tough spot to be in. Now, living in separate locations compounded that issue, because on the weekends he came over for a conjugal visit. He would always ask in the afternoon before he left, is there anything I can do for you before I go? And I, of course, would say no, because I'd like to take care of things. And he would leave looking so dejected and unhappy. It made me very sad. So as Valentine's Day approached, I thought to myself, you know what? I've got to do something really spectacular for him this year. But knowing what his love language was, I thought the best thing I could possibly do for my spouse is to have him do something for me. So I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I had just gotten a different car, and when I was out popping the hood on that to check the coolant, I didn't have quite enough strength to get it open, and the light went off. That's it. This isn't a major thing to ask, but it's a start. And I could picture how happy he would be to be able to help me. So on Valentine's Day, I was all ready with my surprise. After church that day, we went out to lunch. On the way back, we were having a great time in the car. He's driving, we're chatting, we're singing along to an old song on the radio, when he interrupts that with his usual Sunday question. Do you have anything I can do for you before I go home today? Oh, I was ready. He was going to be so happy. So I said, would you please check my coolant? But what I didn't know is the radio had been up so loud it had actually muted the last word of my request. So what he heard me to say was, would you please check my colon? Slight difference. But boy, did he look surprised. credit, he managed to keep the car on the road while coming up with a rebuttal. Well, you know, he said, there's places where you can go where they specialize in doing that sort of thing. Really? The man was an engineer, so I held that against him. Look, I said, like you always say, why go somewhere and pay someone for something we can do ourselves for free? I had him and he knew it. So he did what he always does when he knows I'm right. He went silent. And I did what I always do when he goes silent. I filled that silence with my frustration. What's your problem, Mr. Acts of Service Love Language? It's Valentine's Day, and I thought you loved me. I have spent all week looking forward to making this request because I knew it would make you happy. Happy? Happy? After a while, he stopped hyperventilating, and he let out a couple of deep breaths. And a sigh of resignation came out. Okay. Okay. You win. Where do you want to do this? Out in the driveway! And that is when I knew the source of our failure to communicate.